In this video today, y'all, we're gonna talk about why people shouldn't long for attention. And I mean through the means of all adversaries. While we complain about, our willing and ability to keep moving forward as we see that most of the time when we look at things, we can kind of see ourselves longing for something that we can't obtain. Why that becomes an issue, why do we start to look at people as they come as such, we start to really realize that we might not be as special as it comes. Now that transpires over time to the point where we think about to ourselves and we're like, well, I want this attention, but how do I swerve my opinions and my judgments to just focusing on me entirely? That's the issue though. We have no way of knowing that sometimes it's better for us to just focus and relieve our issues over time by gradually moving forward and putting distractions at a standstill. Now, when we come to the conclusion, and I'll talk about a little bit of my experience when it comes with overcoming attention seeking. Back when I was little, I always looked up to like, the Justin Biebers and the mindless behaviors, and I wanted to be just like them. So I really revolved my life around my looks and insecurities because I wanted to be as, I wanted the pretty boy lifestyle. And eventually, I turned 15 and I did get to that pretty boy, structure. And I realized that a lot of girls was calling me pretty instead of, handsome. Which is no like, standstill. I mean, you pretty, you beautiful. Everybody is beautiful and pretty in their own right. And I think those words are subjective to not just one gender. But that'll be in a separate video, and I'll talk about all the words and structural systems that we place around general neutral things. But the problem with attention seeking when it comes to social media is that you tend to like figure out where you want to put yourself at within the means of society. We like to separate the twos. It's either you're attractive or you're not attractive. So it's kind of like when we put ourselves in a way where we understand that okay, we might not be attractive to the norm, but sometimes we gotta, alleviate the situation. De-absolving ourselves and letting our insecurities play a role and in time for us to keep moving forward will allow us to keep on judging our circumstances. I live and I laugh, and if I can't do that within the means of my own understanding, why do I need a person to tell me when to do such things? Because I value how I feel about myself. When, what I'm saying, it is always about putting yourself into a position where you can look at yourself in the mirror and feel comfortable with what you see. Whether you have rashes, some, you know, diagnosis that causes you to not see yourself in a way, you're still beautiful. Everybody in this world has some type of distractions that they're formulating and that we distract ourselves from. When we use that time of faithfulness and we allow ourselves to believe that, man, nobody got to see me in a certain type of light because I know I'm gorgeous regardless. And you'll be like, well, Tori, it's easy for you to say. I mean, look at you. And I'm like, well, as a man now that I'm grown, man, I was bullied. Man, I was ridiculed. People would, I was getting bald faced. People would slap my head. People would call me all type of names. You look like a turtle, all type of stuff like that. But I ended up growing up, and like I said, a lot of those words still antagonize me, even being grown at this age, because I still feel like deep down, as much how many pretty women I can have in my life, I'm still at a point in the standstill of my life where I feel like I'm insecure. And it's not gonna fade away over time because I was bullied and because I was ridiculed. It was a reckless mind and a reckless space that I was brought in that made me have these thoughts. Now, obviously, I have the confidence to go outside and do what I want, and I have the confidence to say to myself that I look good, no matter whoever is gonna think not. However, when we sit up here and we describe our circumstances, what do we tell ourselves overall when it comes to just battling the idea of love, or what you want to make it? Look at this. If you came and you looked into a mirror and you saw yourself and you was like, well, everything that I see in this mirror, I can pick out my insecurities. By the time you look at the mirror for so long, you get to kind of evaluate and to make yourself an evolution. While you pick out your insecurities, look at your best qualities of yourself. Your smile, your hair. What makes you different than other people? What makes people stand out? Listen to other people when they talk about you as well. What do they like? Your smile, your presence, how you dress, how you feel, how you smell. You have so many better characteristics than thinking about the negative. Because I'm telling you, as we think about the negative and we progress into finding out better intangibles for our life, while leaving everything behind, we get to finally see ourselves in a better lighting. Now, as for me, while developing my confidence, it was a lot of people telling me what I should and shouldn't do with my face. Oh, you post too much on Instagram. You're a bad bee. And I'm like, well, I mean, can I be confident? Notice how people try to deem your confidence too, while you tend to attention seek. And people will tell you that you don't look good, you're not attractive. They'll want you to make you in the realm of their own understanding, but literally deep down in the inside, if other men are talking about you and saying that you're too pretty, or men are telling you this and that, obviously there's something wrong with them sexuality wise. Now, I'm not saying that, what I'm saying, you're insecure, but those people that place these idolizations on your soul and tell you that you're posing in a certain type of way, your mannerisms are a little flamboyant, it doesn't matter as long as they know, or as long as you know and understand that what you're doing is making you feel comfortable. If you have confidence in yourself, flaunt your face. Now, as for a woman, I don't know when it comes to having, prosperous body pictures and doing all the other type of stuff. I feel like that leads up to the woman point of view, and they can talk about their descriptions based off of how they want to flaunt themselves in a way. I personally don't understand that, and I'll sit up here and say that for myself. But as for a man, I know when it comes with being, a little bit of flamboyant and a little bit outside of the norm, and how it feels to not be a strong wielded individual, because a hyper masculinated man is a person that is strong wielded and has a mind full of divine prowess. Nothing can ever shake a warrior man's mindset, and that is what differentiates me from, I guess, a pedestalized humongous man. Because in my mind, what I'm hindering is a divine feminine energy. So I guess I think I feel like I deserve, to get approached, or, I have these certain type of idealizations that certain men be like, nah, you can't think like that. But it's appropriate for us to feel entitled for our worth. Like, I remember watching a dude's video and it said, well, while we attention seek and we're finding out that, a lot of people find us demonly attractive, and how do we like let that digress? In another video, I'll talk about battling, a dark side of yourself and how you master that dark side. And I have problems mastering my dark side. I still feel like my dark side comes out sometimes and I get scared. But like I said, man, wow, you put yourself in a realm full of attention seeking, it gets dark. You start to see people flaunt you, people want to be you. There's pros to having attention seeking, while, I've gained some type of awareness and observation from attention seeking as well. I find it, demonizing. I don't like, being at the center of attention as much as I've liked it before. Now, yes, like I said, there's so many pros, and the cons of attention seeking are maybe more or less than it is pros, or it's more. But they still hold themselves at a bigger degree where you can finally understand about your life and how you see yourself moving forward in life. If a person you want, what I'm saying, whether that be Instagram or social media, and they watch your story on purpose, I feel like I mean, if you want to post yourself for that person specifically, then I wouldn't see nothing wrong with that. Because I feel like I would do that. If I find somebody attractive on Instagram, they just follow me back on Instagram. Shoot, why not post a selfie or my face and it solely be for one person? Now, when it's a whole bunch of people and you lack coercion towards the things of how you place yourself on a, you pedestalize what you bring to the table based off of your appearance. That can't happen towards a plethora of others. Make sure you don't depend on the attention of others, because I did. And as being, a narcissistic man, I love when people say, "Oh, you look good" or "you're handsome." Sometimes I just laugh it off because I just be like, "Bro, I don't even know how to handle this, but it feels good." Dopamine comes in all forms and shapes, not just sexual and not just drugs. Momentary pleasure comes from everything that gives you a fleeting feeling of happiness and closure. The pressure that we feel and that we're going through, you know what I'm saying? We can kind of digress over time. That way we see ourselves in a better evolution. If we upgrade our mind to really defer from the idea of I gotta be this perfect vessel, and if I'm not this perfect vessel, then I'm a loser. Well, you're not a loser. I think you have so much to offer to this world, and you can't call yourself lame just because you didn't get a certain amount of likes, or your likes is different than the popular girl or the popular boy in your school. Everybody has their own way of living, and as you make it through your rounds, you get to finally see yourself improving and being better. Now, by losing some type of certainty within your mind, it can be harder to really see where life really is going to take you through the means of your own perspective. And I'll talk about that in my other video, just about your own anticipations and how you feel ambiguous to understanding how much of your life is about unethical circumstances. While I leave my insecurities up there in the air, I still find some insecurities by myself. I'd be like, oh no, I don't like that. But I know deep down in the inside, it's all about my worth and what I bring to the table and how much of, this is going to work in my favor when it comes to getting to know a person rather than this. Yeah, this is definitely a distraction. And, most people would be like, I look at looks before I even, vocalize character. And that, I mean, that's normal. People look at you and they like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I look at looks first and, well, you look attractive, but, what are the words that you spew as well? Like for me, I value your personality and your characteristics. Now, obviously, I value beauty and I love people that are gorgeous and carry themselves as such. But if that beauty over flaunts your adversaries to the point where you feel like you can get anything that you want just because you're pretty, then what am I supposed to do? Don't allow yourself to literally remove yourself from certain type of things because you're worth it. Attention seeking is so much more of a way of living a better perspective into your life because it's not something that needs to be a healthy habit. Because like I said, as a person that did attention seek, you got to keep up with it too. You got to make sure that you know what I'm saying, you doing the right poses and you're looking pretty for the camera, and it becomes like a job, to be honest. Oh, let me strut this way, let me do this, let me do that. Is my face perfect here? Is my face perfect here? And obviously it's fun doing it because I mean, like when you look good, you try to perfect any type of insecurity that you can so you can get the most attention. But I found myself that finding out these things, and while I validate, the opinions of others too, while I was in that mix, I found myself sad. Why is this person telling me I shouldn't post my face as much? Why are they saying I'm too pretty? Why are they saying I'm acting light skinned when really I'm just being me? And I'm living a life that I always wanted. I wanted to be the center of attention, just like every other, man wants to. But I developed the confidence to post myself and do what I wanted it to. But people envy that too. So the people that attention seek too and are very good at it and have that, overwhelming experience with controlling what you do and what you say, there will be people that will be jealous of you just because you look good, and that is it's harder to decipher between those people because it's gonna be people closest to you that are jealous. Oh, he gets so many girls. Oh, she gets so many boys. Like what? And it's like those people will literally make you belittle yourself just because you have the attention that you get. They don't like the fact that you're able to pull women at a crazy rate. Or people that think they can do what you can because you look the way you do and you present yourself as such. Attention seeking is not about he says niche, you feel me? Neither is it a clause in time. But allow yourself to keep moving forward and understand that life is life and everything is gonna be okay because you got some self improvement to do while acknowledging and while having yourself licensed to the ability to keep focusing on you, and your insecurities won't be as expressive as. Thank you guys again for watching the video. Um yeah, man, pumping these O's out, pumping these O's out. You know what I'm saying? So, when I'm tired, I'm gonna make a video scheduled for the times where I'm not gonna have the ability to upload. And hope y'all enjoyed the video today. Yeah, attention seeking is it has its pros, like I said, but it also has its bad cons. But you got to make sure that the attention that you bring out doesn't bring haters to, and also that you don't get attached to it because you're going to lose yourself in every way possible, whether you gain adversaries, you gain enemies, or you just kind of sit still and you let it kind of eat you alive, and then you become addicted to the feeling of dopamine through people liking you and having all of these compliments. Because if you know you're attractive, then just chill out. Let you be anonymous for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't really like people like showing my face off and like pedestalizing me, because I'm like, bro, man, I'm a human being. But like I said, bro, it's neither here and there. You're blessed. Keep moving forward, work for your goals, and can't wait to see y'all in the next video.